Good evening. It's time for some house cleaning. That's the energy theme that I picked up on at the beginning of October. It's time to get your brooms out. It's why the witches, actually they weren't witches, they were just simply clearing the old stagnant energy out, physically, emotionally, and mentally, grabbing onto a broom and sweeping it and clearing it out. Because we all need to do a little house cleaning. And typically that means sitting in our junk, seeing where the cobwebs have accumulated, noticing where we're stuck, why things feel heavy. Haven't you noticed? You probably noticed over the past few days, there's a heaviness, there's stuck. You probably feel it in your body. And what is the body doing? It's just mirroring and telling on the mind. The body is your greatest teacher. It is the wisest of the tools and signals, the guidance system that you have, and you live right with it. All the answers you seek are within you. They're part of you. They are you. Every fiber of your being. You got 5 senses, and it all happens right here. Nobody can have it, do it for you. Nobody can see it for you. Nobody can smell it for you. Nobody can taste it for you, touch it, or hear it for you. That's all for you, baby. And your intuition gets heightened the more you tap into those 5 senses. The more present you are in your physical body, the more clarity you'll see clearly. You'll realize with real eyes that everything that's within you is reflected outside of you. And then when you do see something outside of yourself, you have to go within and ask, where does that reside within me? Because this is the game of life. It is all based on duality. What is in is out. What is up is down. Yin yang, left, right. Feminine, masculine. There are always going to be 2 sides to the whole, the yin and the yang. You can't have this without that. And when you reject this, you reject that. When you don't go within, you go without. But the key is staying neutral, remaining in the center, the 0 point, and recognizing, oh, if I am swinging on the pendulum of life, if I am so far over here, I need to come right back to center. And then if I go too far over there, once again, it's called imbalance. See, without duality, without contrast, we wouldn't recognize when we get out of line, when things aren't aligned. It's all divinely orchestrated. The imbalance is showing you the disharmony, the inability for the 2 sides to meet and become whole, the oneness. So when we are feeling stuck, stagnant, we need to tap into that. We need to recognize, I'm holding on to something. I'm resisting something. Because the more we resist, the more pain exists. The longer something lingers because we don't face it, it festers. We have to also know that what is feeling, what is intuition, what is tapping into our senses is a reflection of the mind. Whatever the body's exhibiting is just trying to get your attention. Tension in the body is showing you where you have been neglecting you. So yesterday I walked into my yoga class and I immediately tuned into this. Are you all feeling the heaviness? Are you feeling stuck? That's the collective vibe I picked up on yesterday. So we did a Kriya for removing body blocks. Do you know that we create our own blocks? Maybe you know this already. I've had to figure it out over the course of my life. I didn't figure it out right away. See, what you actually anticipate, you create. Because where attention goes, energy flows. And energy wants to stay in motion. So when we are resisting something, we're trying to control something, make something happen, not make it happen, we're actually creating the stuck, stagnant, heavy energy that we're feeling. That when we're resisting because we're anticipating and then we're creating it, we're stopping the energy flow. Energy wants to stay in motion. Energy needs to go from place to place. It needs to flow. It needs to transmute. It is not meant to stay stagnant. Even though we can see things in these forms with edges and, matter, that my arm, it appears not to be moving except for when I move. But the truth is that everything is moving. Always, in all ways. Energy needs to move. Energy is meant to flow. Energy is meant to stay in motion. And so when we have these heavy, stuck energies, these sensations, it's showing where you are holding on to something or you are resisting something, trying to control something. And it's not aligned with you. Because when it feels like a challenge, like a struggle, it means you're not aligned with it. It means you're not in alignment with your soul's purpose or your heart. It's coming from the mind. The mind is what creates the resistance, the pain, the struggle, the strife. In order to get the energy moving and flowing and going and you just feeling all light and airy, you sometimes need to get your butt up and move your body. The mind might not want to do it. You may not feel like it, which is a reflection of the mind. If you don't feel like it, it's not that you don't feel like it. It's actually that your mind is resisting doing anything outside of what it wants to do. It's the ego wanting to be right, to control the situation, versus the heart wanting to be happy. When you can get out of your own way and just do it, as Nike coined the most famous human, get off your butt and just move. Just get out in nature, take a walk, jump up and down, dance around your house, do whatever it takes to get energy flowing and going and moving and shaking. Because sometimes we got to shake it up to break it up. Or we break down, and that's not always the best way to break through, but it's the truth. That a breakdown is a setup for a breakthrough. When we shake things up, we wake things up. Movement, flow. When you are stuck and stagnant, that's when you need to get up and go. This is the beauty of life. We really aren't trees. We don't have to be planted where we're at. We just get up and go. We're really blessed. We have so much to be grateful for. And sometimes we just get stuck in our own shit to the point where we can't even see our way out of it. Oh, woe is me, the victimhood mentality. The I can't see my way out of the situation. Of course you can't. When you're in it, you're in it. You can't see yourself because you're so stuck in it. You need to get out of that environment. You need to either take someone's advice or, you know what, you really need just a second set of eyes. And that's where the body, moving the body, shaking things out, meditating sometimes even. But a lot of times, it's not always going to be the go-to. Most people can't sit their butts down. When you are so stuck and you're ruminating in your brain, your mind is going crazy on the monkey training wheels. The truth is you just got to get up and move. Jump on a bike. Even run down the street. Maybe you're not even a runner. It's still gonna move the endorphins. It's gonna get your adrenaline kicking. The happy hormones start pumping. That's what it's all about. You want to stay young, youthful, vibrant, alive? You want to reverse aging? Get up and get out the door. Move your body, get out in nature. Go out by the water. Negative ions. Go dance in the rain. Whatever it takes, you gotta move it or you'll lose it. And see, when we come back to it all in the end, that stuck energy essentially just wants your attention. Did you ever stop to think about that? That the more you resist, the more it's persisting, and the more you suppress it, the more it's wanting to come up. And every single time you get triggered by someone else you think, when in reality they're just a catalyst to your healing, showing you, serving up on a silver platter, here's an opportunity for your growth in your evolution. Are you willing to take the prize, take the gift? Are you going to receive it well? Or are you going to poo-poo and push it away? Anything that's coming at you that you think is against you is always going to be for you. There's always an opportunity. It may not be served up with a bow wrapped around it all pretty and nice. But everything that comes at you is for your highest good. It's for you to grow and evolve. So if someone triggers you, they're essentially just assisting in your ability to evolve. They're assisting in bringing up that old wound, which is calling out and just figures, you know what? That wound, that old trauma, maybe someone else comes in and they're the one that triggers, but somehow energetically, it's the wound that called that person in because you weren't paying attention. And that every time it came up at a different point in your life, you were just resisting and rejecting it, and it was just getting stuffed down. But that energy actually called out another person to come into your life to assist you in bringing it to light. Wow. Not too many people will see the other person as their blessing, is their angel in disguise. So when that other person comes in and you get triggered, it's because you kept on denying the opportunity that was within you anyway. It's always there. And all it wants is for your acknowledgement, your witnessing it, your attention. 9 times out of 10, as soon as you go there, it goes there. It goes away. When you go, wow, I didn't even realize how much I was holding on right there. My right hip's been bugging me. Every time I wake up, it's already there. I'm anticipating it. It's a pain in me. It's a pain. It's just a pain in my side. It's like a pain in the neck kind of deal, But when you really just sit with it and go, wow, I'm really sorry I haven't spent any time with you. And then you start talking to it and just doing whatever comes natural, leaning in and asking, what is the message here for me? You create the space through the power of the breath, taking in the spirit, breathing in prana, breath, life force, creating space, sending the prana to those areas of tension, discomfort in your body. And noticing that when you create the space for it, that like a flower, the petals blossom, and it presents to you the gift, the message that's always been there. And just by your acknowledging it and seeing it, just like anybody, there's a lot of us out here, you just want to be seen, you just want to be heard, you just want to be witnessed. So often you go running to the first person who will hear, see, or witness you. It's no different than the pain in your body. But you're seeking it on the outside. You're looking for that solace in another person. Because that's the trauma response. We think someone else will make us feel better. When it's you all this time, you're the adult that needs to embrace your inner child, see the purpose in that pain, to harness and embrace it. It's not there to kill you. It's not going to kill you. It's there because that's how you evolve and grow. Not too many people, and if you have had this happen, where do you grow the most? It's not in your comfort zone. You got to get real uncomfortable in order to grow, to change. The biggest change happens outside of that comfort zone. And sitting in your own muck, your own stuff, the stuck, stagnant energy is where you grow the most. The lotus, it blooms from the mud. And you are the lotus. You are that butterfly processing, evolving, transforming through the chrysalis, going through the goo. And you're going to have to build up the strength of your wings in order to press through, push through, open up that chrysalis and emerge. To be able to fly, you have to build up the strength in your wings in order to flap them and carry you through the wind. Life is miraculous. And this period of house cleaning is all about clearing out the old garbage. What is no longer serving you? What is it you truly want to experience and create in this life? What is it that you want to leave as your legacy? You can't take anything with you. What are you going to leave behind? How are you going to uplift others? How are people going to remember you? How do you want to be remembered? He who hears it thinks it, but he who feels it knows it. You have to feel it. You have to sit with it. When you acknowledge, you witness, you see it, you feel it, all these senses, intuitively you know that's your intuition. That's your wisdom. You can amass mass amounts of information, but it's the integration, it is the application in your own personal life, the experience that you have that transforms, transmutes all that information into your wisdom. Wisdom is a deep, deep knowing. It's not just I got the answers for that. I read a book. No. This is so deep in you. It's intangible. And nobody else can glean it from you, through you. Or just being in your presence, they may sense something, but they don't have that wisdom because they did not have that experience. They did not amass that particular integration as you have. And each one of us has a role in this life. Each one of us has wisdom that needs to be integrated with one another. When we bring the wisdom together, the wiser we will all be, unified. But first we got to deal with our own stuff first, and then maybe the rest of the world will follow suit. See, as they say, or Gandhi said, be the change you want to be in the world. You can't go running around telling everybody else what they need to be doing. I mean, my personal thing is I just want to lead by example, and people go, hey, can I get some of that? I get that a lot in my life already. And this is why I try to harness the power of social media to be able to hopefully reach more people than just what I encounter in daily life, because I feel, and having been in the IT realm all of my life, that we can harness the power of technology for the greater good. Of course, it can be taken in the opposite direction, and yes, it has. But it's up to us to use it right. To not use it for rumors, to not use it for manipulation, to not use it to just benefit ourselves, to not try to influence others to benefit just ourselves. The influence should be to uplift, inspire, support, and empower one another. That has been my mantra for, I don't know, 4 years or so, 5 years. Because the truth is, we need to lead by example and to inspire through our inspired living. If I walk around all stiff and I'm not walking my talk, how effective is that? I live by example from my experience. Whatever I share is because I know it from my experience. I don't tell you my opinion, I tell you my experience. What I sense, what I feel, intuitively what I know. The channeling, the guidance, the messages I receive, the visions, the dreams. That's not just for me, but in some cases, yes. But essentially, if I get an intuitive hit, this needs to be heard beyond just myself. Should I withhold that? No. And there are a lot of us out there in the world, and I'm speaking for the collective, that are still holding back our gifts, still holding back our dreams, our visions. I'm not saying you have to run out and declare it to the world, because that should be something you hold sacred, first off. But to live the example of it is a whole nother game, a whole nother experience. We're supposed to bring our gifts to the world. No, not going and declaring, here are my gifts and I need you to understand. No. Exercise them. Demonstrate them. Lead. Inspire through your inspired living. Be the example of what your gift is. So it's about discipline. It's about clearing out the old, the stuff that isn't serving you any longer, the stuff you've been carrying from other people. How many of you out there have been carrying and shouldering the responsibility of your family, your friends, your children, your spouses, your partners, your parents, the world? Stop playing the martyr. We're not here to be martyrs. We're here to live in joy. And when you're trying to control the minutia, you're trying to control the magnutia, the big stuff, the little stuff, that's out of fear. Only fear tries to control. Because fear, false evidence appearing real, is in the mind, not in the heart. Happiness, joy, love, all originates in the heart. Fear feels the need to suppress truth. Fear tries to push, coerce, control, impose itself. Fear is about lack mentality. Fear is the I have to take. It's survival. Whereas love, joy, happiness is abundant. It's rich. It knows. That's the intuition of the heart, the wisdom of the soul. That doesn't require push comes to shove. It doesn't require force. And one thing about truth and love, happiness, joy, is you cannot suppress it. You cannot deny it. You can try to hide it, but the truth always prevails. And it's about really coming from neutrality and just being the witness and observing. Am I stuck? Why do I feel heavy? Where do I feel it in my body? Because if I can feel it, I can heal it. If I can tap into it, the sooner I feel into it, the sooner I heal it, the sooner it's gone before you know it. Think about that. When you face it, it doesn't fester. And no longer will it linger. Think about it. Nobody wants anything festering, and nobody wants anything lingering that's longer than its stay or its welcome. So if you are willing, an able-bodied participant in this life, to step into your joy, to not worry about what people think, to not shoulder the responsibility of others, and recognize that everybody has an equal part in their own lives, and can only take responsibility and be accountable to themselves, not you or me. We can only do that for ourselves. There's a huge truth and huge gift in all of this. That the house cleaning is sweeping it out, is clearing out the cobwebs, is clearing out the clutter, is getting rid of the dust, is removing what no longer serves. It's the allowing and the letting go. Maybe even starting over fresh and completely new. Only you know what you need for you. But sometimes, and I just want to touch upon this other little keynote here, when we feel stuck, we feel stagnant, we want to put a label on things. Here's the problem with labels, people. People get lazy with labels. When you place a label on something, now you have dismissed it. You have essentially placed it in a box. It is confined, restrained. It's no longer its unique beingness. See, a label is essentially, it stops us from acknowledging it. It actually creates a barrier. It's another way of, oh, I don't want to deal with it. Let me just put a label on it, because if I put a label on it, then I've dealt with it. But you haven't. You put a Band-Aid on it. And that's where I say, if you don't face it, it's going to fester. It's going to linger longer. It's going to get worse. It's going to become a bigger issue than it was if you had just faced it face on in the beginning. Labels are essentially ways of going around not dealing. It's rejecting, it's resisting, it's suppressing, and it's oppressing. If you really want to heal, you have to be willing to feel. So stagnant, stuck energy, feeling heavy, just recognize it's whatever it is you're missing is what you need to create, not seek. We create from the void. The void is that void. It has nothing in it, but somehow we create from it. And the reason it's a void is because it just is. It's not this or that. It's all and no thing at the same time. So when we feel a void within us and we think we need to fill it, or maybe we've been filling it with the wrong things, just recognize if you have a void, that's your opportunity to create from within. And ultimately, we think a void needs to be filled, when in reality, that void is where we're supposed to create from. That in itself is a huge epiphany for many who don't realize that the void is from which you create. It is not from which you fill. If your cup is empty, how do you think you fill it? From the outside in? No. It comes from the inside out. The cup actually fills from the bottom to the top regarding us. Just like the void, it has to come from within it. Nothing from the out is going to fill you in. And that's just a fact. It's not this or that. So that is what was feeling and streaming through me. So focus on what you want to create as I review here. Deep in your heart, listen. Listen deep and heed the whispers of your soul. Alchemy is energy in action. What are you going to create? First, you have to clear out the old and then create the space to invite, or like I just said, create the void to create from. From the void, which is what we're clearing out right now. We're clearing out all this old garbage. We're clearing out, this is the cobwebs. The stagnant, stuck energy that everybody is feeling right now is essentially a collective hoarding. Whatever it is you've been holding on to, whether it's thoughts, beliefs, and stories, even if it's in your physical body, it still originates in the mind. Whatever it is you've been hoarding and holding on to, it's time to get rid of that shit. Just sweep it out. Vacuum it out, whatever you gotta do, move it. Move your body. Move it or you'll lose it. When you sweep it out, you clear it out, you create the space. Now with the void, you create from within. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Are you willing to let go? Are you ready to flush it out? What can you let go of? And just remember, it's easy to move in the direction of what's comfortable and familiar, but that doesn't get you anywhere. Again, it's about the comfort zone. Got to get out of your comfort zone in order to create change. Nothing new comes from the old. The definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Dun-dun-dun. You create from within, but you got to create space. You have to create a void in order to create from that void. You are more powerful than you realize. You are the most magnificent manifester of your reality and of your life. Now, go do some house cleaning. Sweep it out and create from your void. You got it in you. I believe in you. I love you. Have sweet dreams. Good night. God bless.